Hi everyone. I think Ranger there. I can see Ranger has joined us. Australia 3 down now. What are the chances now? It's interesting. Hi guys. You can see if you were watching the previous video, I had a yellow jacket and a blue cap. I've got a white cap and a blue jacket now. Complete change. So we certainly have really hit the mark. So everyone who was on that other channel should be watching this now, because we're still going to talk about the Australia South Africa match. We're also going to be joined by David Graveney and talk about England versus West Indies. So hello again. So the other show is still going gangbusters. People are still watching that. I'm waiting for David Graveney to work out that we're actually on another show, but he'll be here shortly. So I'm hoping people will start to join this program after having been on the other program. So yeah, that was quite a. So Glenn Maxwell's there, Steve Smith's there, and wickets have fallen again. Warner only got, well, I predicted 5. He got 14. He didn't exactly take the game, away from South Africa. I'm afraid with Steve Smith, he'll cruise. He'll just bludgeon a bit around. He'll hit a few singles here and there, and he will be pretty happy with himself, and he'll cruise a little bit. They're going to cruise a little bit, I think. I have to admit. So yeah, it's still looking good for Australia. I mean, I can't imagine them losing this. So they do that. They need to be there with Maxwell and Steve Smith there. That's a pretty damn pretty formidable pairing, those two. Smith's on 16 after 13 balls. He's taking charge. I think he's steady as they come. So Mitchell Marsh got caught. Van der Dusen by Maharaj 11, and Warner got 14. So Aussie will get through. Tech Boy, what your opinion? Who will win the second match for England versus second match? England versus West Indies, not England versus Australia. Tech Boy, is that what you mean? England versus Australia or West Indies? Yeah, England. I think will have to be considered to be the team to win that. I'm wondering what's happened to our friend. Give me just 1 sec, guys. We've got 4 marks. See what they've got there. Let's just quickly looking at this. Okay, it's there. Okay, nothing too serious going on there. All right, guys, so back again. I'm back. Yeah, so with Smith on 17, Maxwell on 3, you'd have to be quite comfortable. Nobody's really gone ahead with this. 347 after 9 overs. They're not exactly. I haven't got many runs to get. Yeah, Manu John's right. Australia should have stopped South Africa below 100 runs. But more importantly, they should have got their score in 10 overs. They should have got 108 and 10 overs and really been emphatic. The fact that they're still struggling, South Africa are going to ruin not getting a few extra runs, I think. So I'm going to see Dwayne Pretorius, who didn't get much of a chance with the bat. Yeah, it's a pretty unfortunate situation here. So once this match finishes, we'll bring up people. Are you excited for my big match? Tech Boy, I'm extremely excited. Extremely excited. I can see this is coming on leaps and bounds. Yeah, with Smith's, India versus Pakistan, what a match it's going to be. What a match it's going to be. What a match. Still getting people watching the other video I've already finished. It's quite amusing. So South Africa is back in the game, 50-50 shot. And you're seeing as you're right. 36 and 66 sounds doable if they have wickets in hand. Yes, that's the key. These two are probably the key. How much is the run rate would have mattered in this game? Well, It's low scoring all the way around. Both players seems to have been not. They've bowled pretty well. Pretorius looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with his bowling as well. But look, Mishmarsh and Warner are the problem. And so it's finished. The top three have failed again. They're 3 for 30, 49. They can't afford to have these sorts of starts. Even though Shumsey's leaking runs there, it's not good. He may take wickets. Next 2021 T20 World Cup is in Australia. It's confirmed. Yes, it is 2022. Next is September, October next year, actually. Graham Smith there in the audience. It was quite chubby. Anyway, I've got people. Yeah, Smith and Maxwell to do something for sure. It's a long way from one, but they're putting a bit of a fight. You've got to give them some credit. You've got to give them some sort of credit for what they're doing. Matthew Wade's going in excellently. Oh, God. He won't last long. He's not the answer at all. Stoiner should go on next. Okay, Kavitha Kavi. I think it will be a really close match because South Africa bowlers are known for their both economy and wicket-taking ability of late. But I think Australia can easily win from this because of their so many X factors coming up. Yeah, if South Africa get a wicket anytime soon, the match is well and truly heading into their favour. Are these like quality power hitters? Yeah, although Wade's ordinary. Stoinis is better. He can't do it on his own, can he? It's a very unusual match because you've got so many fast bowlers bowling. It's not going to be typical of the rest of the series, I don't think. It's a battle of two teams that probably the 351. No, it's you'd think that's cruise mode. Well, where is my friend? I'm just trying to work out whether David Gravy is coming. I'm sure whether he's aware that there's a new link. What about Wade? I'm not a fan of him. Almost exclusively doing this for David Wade or Gravity's sake. So. Well, to wait and see whether I can actually get this done. So many twists and turns. It's just not funny. It really is the way this game is going. So why didn't you go to UAE for Australia Journal? Look, Tech Boy, the reason why, because I couldn't, first of all, we had to stay in quarantine there, and it was quarantine return. I didn't want to spend all that money to go there in that case. But now, as of November 1st, we've changed. We can actually return to Australia without quarantine. Now it's attractive to me. So I'm going to plan to go, hopefully, in the next week or so, and spend a bit of time in quarantine in the UAE and then be there for the week of the finals. That's exciting, and then I'll be able to return. That's what I want to do. So that makes sense? That's why I'm doing it. I appreciate your thoughts, but that's the reason why I didn't do it, because I basically just want to, allow myself to, afford all this. It's an affordability. It's not useless again. I want to go there. I do want to go there. I'll be honest with you. I just had that situation occur where is this commentary? Okay, the live blog scorecard, commentary, overs, playing 11. They're playing 11. That's wrong one. That gives us a problem. News, live stats, commentary, Live blog. I never know what they do. How Australia look at that shows that. I'm not convinced. I don't think I'm not convinced on what I'm saying with the Australian side at the moment at all. I'm not convinced at all. I think there's a long way to go before we can be convinced. And they've lost their top three again, haven't they? Mitchell Marsh at 3, second game in the warm-up match, and this match has not worked. So they're going to have to look at that very seriously. Warner's failed yet again, and Aaron Finch has failed yet again. In the middle of these two, Maxwell and Smith, can get them out of the situation they're in now, but it's not a winning. It's not a winning combination by any means for what will come up faster. And that's the concern for Australia. They're beating South Africa, which is a substandard side, let's be honest. They're not. One must be benched. I totally agree. He's not doing anything properly at all at this stage. We've got 3 for 53. Who they got? They got. I can see Stoinis. Who's the other player? Is that? I didn't see who that was. Swepson with Patson. I thought it was Swepson. Who would that be? Smith's steadying, and all he has to do is be steady in this situation. 354 of 10. Now, you'd think they need 60 odd again. They're on target to do it. The beauty of winning the toss and bowling first, that's the key. But they're taking their time. Really stuffing around here. But that's all I have to do in this match. But they really should be winning this easily for net run rate purposes. Playing the time will become very pivotal. They should be doing, and they're not. So it's a bit disappointing, to say the least. Now, David Gravely should be here somewhere soon. Let's hope that he is, because I want him to talk to us about England cricket. It's good to be able to still watch Australia with South Africa, isn't it? Really, this is a great match. England, although they're going up, is that a bit of a pretend to try and cover for what is effectively a wide? Australia's advantage at the moment, yes, but not overwhelmingly. And 4,650 people watched my previous report. Happy with that. Oh, it was a bit of a touch there. It looked like a touch to me. Like a touch to me. This fellow Pretorius is pretty steady, actually. Oh, it was not all that far from the bowler's hand. All they need is to get these two batters out, and then things could really turn. Really, really turn. We just don't know where this is heading. He's peculiar boxes. You see that? It's quite interesting. Quite impressed with the little boxes. And of course, Finch got out to a fairly ordinary shot too. You'd think Australia will win, but it's not going to be a cruising victory by any stretch of the imagination. Since Marsh can finish the innings really well, don't they? He should be batting down the order. Allow Smith number 3. Ranga, I totally agree. I think the positioning of where he's at in the order is not the right spot. I totally agree. Totally not agree. But I was taking some drinks there. Well, Smith's handling this quite, as Smith does, with a great deal of control. And it's well done considering where this game's at. But so 1:30 here is 10 hours difference. It's 11:30 here. So where is David Gravy? Just going to see what. Hi, David. I sent you a new link. So there's a new link. It's in an email, yes. Okay, it's there in an email, okay? So David's just lost the link there. But yeah, look, the required runway is not what the relevance is there. It's yeah, it's sometimes I send emails to people. Let's just have a look. I'm sending the center items. Yeah, it's there, so it should be okay this time. All right, so I think Australia deserve to lose on how they are playing. It's not a test match. Exactly. Don't you think, this Ariam Shahara Telegram, don't you think there are more numbers of players who have been batting in the top three for their respective franchise and hurting Australia's team now since yeah, I agree. It's a huge mistake. Yeah, they should have cleaned this total up after 10 overs. Let's be honest. That's what they should have done. Bloody ordinary. Not impressive. They just scraped their way through. They're not impressing anyone. They're not saying, "Oh, we're a force record." No, not scaring anybody. And Steve Smith is playing a bit more aggressively, but he's now on 29, which is good. But they're cruising, but they're not doing it easily. But anyways, here's David Bound. Hello, David.
Norman, long time no speak.
Yes, how are you?
No, good. Watching the cricket with some interest. They'll end up
Yes.
50 playing 50 by the end of this tournament. The way the wickets are playing.
Oh God, yeah. But look, South Africa underwhelming, but Australia aren't exactly, knocking this total over in 5 minutes, are they?
No, it's actually, how people are bowling in the power play has been quite impressive, really. So, and Australia would have done even better had they not, Mitchell Stark wanted to find out whether it was swinging or not. So I just bowled 3 half volleys, and you can work it out for yourself.
I think Australia are very underwhelming. With the way that Warner's failed again, Aaron Finch has failed again. Mitch Marsh shouldn't be batting first drop, should he?
Well, did you say Warner's failed again? He got to double figures, Norman. That's quite an achievement, really. So.
I predicted him getting out a duck after 3 balls, so I'm a bit of a. The reality is he's just in shocking form. This is just and he just doesn't seem to take a trick at the moment at all, does he?
How is the harmony within the dressing room in Australia?
Can't be good. It can't be good. They're trying to bluff us if they say it is going well. It isn't. I mean, look, the reality is even South Africa are having all sorts of issues, not having Faf du Plessis in the side after having played the man of the match knock for the CSK a couple of days ago in the same country. And can't make his national side.
The same thing. Who was that left-hander who was playing for KKR who kept thrashing it out of the park? He's not in their lineup either, is he?
No. Well, you're talking about the Indian lineup now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, Moeen Ali, of course, it did very well for his side and should be a definite starter for the England side today, would you say?
Instead of the captain, or not?
Well, Maxwell's just hit a reverse sweep. He's in great form. He's probably the only Australian player that's holding his head up high at the moment.
But he's played a lot of IPL, Norman. They're used to the conditions. They know how to bowl and bat on it. So I think that one of the most outstanding performances has been Hazelwood, really. So sort of the way he's bowled in the IPL, the way he bowled today. So it will be interesting to see how things, So the West Indies haven't got Narine playing for them. So some of the main performers in the IPL aren't actually featuring, which is an interesting development.
Oh, look, there's so many permutations. Look, the IPL is extremely important, isn't it, really? From the respective, the fact that it's on the same wickets, it's just played there, the same format.
Yeah, the batsmen will be really looking forward to when they get to Sharjah. That's really going to test their skills.
Oh, it's going to get lower and slower, isn't it?
This rolls long.
Well, what do you think of it? Okay, we'll talk a bit about the England side in a minute, obviously against West Indies. But do you honestly think that Australia or South Africa have got any hope of making the final four?
Well, I think what does liven up Group 1 is that both Bangladesh and Sri Lanka are in it. So
yeah,
I don't think people who are going to make the semi-final are going to have an unbeaten record to do it. So actually, I think it's a lot of good teams. So actually, I think for Australia and South Africa, I think that doesn't take the pressure off. But I think you can afford to lose a couple of games in this format and still qualify. So.
But you wouldn't want to lose them too early on, would you? Because you want to get a reason.
Puts a lot of pressure on you on a must-win games as you progress. But they're both in the same scenario. Is that the top of the order just isn't functioning. So you're in a catch-22 position where you've lost 2 or 3 in the power play. Do you just try and aim for 130 and say, well, that's going to be a winning score? And sometimes it won't be, like as it happened in the game yesterday. Not that they got to 130, but Namibia knocked them off completely. And I don't know what the effect of the dew in the later games will be. Does it mean that the ball comes onto the bat a bit more than it does in the first innings? Whereas the day match will definitely, I think, be... Well, I think games are being won either posting a score or chasing a score, but there is a I think an optimum target in terms of runs, and I think if you get over 150, you're really in the pound seats of what happens, unless somebody plays exceptionally well in that power play. So,
but I must say the way to go is to win the toss and bowl. That's probably the most. To win the toss and bowl is the way to go.
Unless there's a dew factor in the game that starts later.
Yeah. But I think when you set a target,
bowl spin. But the seamers have been equally as effective. The one thing that has to happen is you can't give up the stumps, whatever you're bowling, whether it's spin, whether it's seam. You've got to be absolutely at the stumps. But it does seem that actually if you bowl back of a length as a seamer and you bowl dead straight, that is becoming increasingly difficult to play. because you
Oh,
can't
absolutely.
go for a cross-bat shot because you don't know how high it's going to bounce. And then you end up actually running at it, which some of the guys have been doing. So all I mean, the keeper will stand up. So, but
I'll give you an example. If Australia batted first in this match, they would have lost this match, I think, honestly.
Well, Abu Dhabi, the under-19 World Cup was played there. Actually, ironically, South Africa won when Rabada was playing in their team. So,
Really?
yeah. So in our team, we had Ben Duckett was playing. A guy called Joe Clark, who's played some limited over cricket. Yeah, it was a decent team. That they dropped a catch at long on against Pakistan with they were 9 down, so it was quite an expensive catch to drop, and they ended up losing by 1 wicket. And then South Africa won the final, but Rabada was, he was red hot then. So, but they did have an all-seam attack, which is what South Africa tend to do, and that was actually quite effective at Abu Dhabi. But there's been so much cricket played on these wickets, Norman, that I'm surprised they can find a new wicket anywhere, really. So,
they're not saving any wicket for the semi-finals and finals, so they're going to be playing on very mediocre pitches.
Yeah,
which will be worn for sure. Actually,
it doesn't mean to say that cricket is uninteresting, because I think those latter games in the IPL were some extraordinary. The game that KKR eventually won, having lost 5 wickets for about 7, with some extraordinary shots going on, with reverse sweeping. And I don't know how anybody can be playing a reverse sweep on wickets like this, where the bounce is so low, unless you're an exceptional player at a reverse sweep. Maxwell is just a super talent, isn't he? So,
yeah.
But I think he definitely needs an appointment with a hairdresser, Norman.
Well, I've shaven. I've got my hair cut.
No,
I'm pretty good. I've been to the
smart, Norman, actually.
Well, we had our so-called, they call it Freedom Day, about a week ago, where we actually came out of lockdown properly, and we're about 80% vaccinated, and we've been running around quite freely now. And as of November 1st, I can travel overseas and come back without quarantine.
Is that just a rule for Australian residents?
Yes. Not for.
What are the rules around? Because they obviously have made some concessions with the England Test team, but some of the states, the Test match at Perth, if it was played next week, wouldn't take place, would it?
It's going to be quite a mess, actually. It's only New South Wales at this point. Victoria is starting to consider it. They were getting excited because they've just gotten Smith out, and Australia are 4 for 80. There's a bit of trouble here.
Yeah. And Australia have a tendency not to bat a long way down. So it'll be left for your favourite player, Wade, Norman. So.
Well, Matthew Wade, I mean, Inglis is. If Wade fails in this match, they've got to start thinking about bringing Inglis in, honestly, because he's been a gun little player.
Inglis was devastating in the UK. He just smashed it everywhere.
And he keeps. And Wade's just already out of the Test arena. And, and Mitchell Marsh batting first drop, that's another mistake. Even though he did okay in the West Indies and what have you, the teams didn't win with him there. So there's some. Marcus Stoinis is probably now recovering from his injury. He's pretty good quality. He's coming in now.
He's permanently injured, that bloke.
That's true. He's earning enough money, though, being permanently injured, that's for sure. Look, Australia stumbling against South Africa, really. My early predictions are that England and West Indies will get through. We'll see more about that this evening when those two teams play, because pretty important match for both of them, because they both, I think England should win easily, but West Indies are unpredictable, and they're
unpredictable. They're a lesser team without Narain and Darren Bravo, Dwayne Bravo. because he's one of the substitutes, isn't he? So
Yeah.
I suspect, Norman, there could be some tactical injuries happening in this tournament to get the substitute on the pitch. So
You never
the
know.
committee, the committee that has to judge whether it's a bona fide injury could be tested out in this. So.
It's interesting. England still should win their group, I think. At this early stage, on paper, England's side is particularly still strong.
I think they played really well, because I think for just on one point is that they are not favourites. You know, the bookmakers would have India as favourites. And I think they play much better when they're under the spotlight. They're not necessarily massively under the spotlight, but in the group they are. If you look at Sri Lanka, all right, and they've got a host of names that nobody's heard of, apart from Simon Willis. And Simon, you need to get Simon on the programme when Sri Lanka are playing, because a lot of these guys.
He's been quiet, so please. David, have a word with Simon. I'd love to have him on the show, because that would be
particularly
tomorrow. In fact,
he'll give you some background information of the start, and they have a lot of these players have come from the development group that he had as young guys. That leg spinner is somebody he actually identified. So he
wow.
But they're
doing very well. They played very well.
If they could get some runs at the beginning of the innings, they've got 2 or 3 bowlers who are bowling at over 140 kpm.
And Shamira, for example.
And then they've got a mystery spinner.
Yeah, they were undefeated in their qualifiers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Maxwell's just gotten bowled. Oh my God, Australia are imploding as we speak. Shumsey's bowled a great delivery.
Who bowled it?
Shumsey.
All right, the wrist spinner.
Yeah, Maxwell's out, so that leaves Stoinis with Wade. And if Wade falls, that's just about it. See, but can you explain? I mean, South Africa didn't select Du Plessis, of course, who was in the CSK winning side, man of the match. They didn't put Abby de Villiers, Chris Morris.
I think it would only be Faf du Plessis would be the only one that they would select. I think it would be counterproductive to go back to the other 2 guys.
Right.
And they were negotiating around Abby de Villiers and his contract. But you know, they'll think that they can go under the. I think this guy Markham is a serious player, and he played in the IPL as well. And Quinton de Kock will have his moments. There's no doubt about that. So,
well, he didn't play very well. He played a very poor shot today.
Well, he was a bit unlucky, Norman, because it hit him on the hit.
Well,
he thought he was going to.
What was he doing with that shot, though?
And he just watched it hit the stumps. So.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive. Anyway, this is getting quite dangerous. 5 for 81 off 15.2. Wade, who, look, he's in awful form. Maxwell's tried one of his typical reverse sweeps.
Are we on the airways, Norman, or are we just having a chat, you and I?
Now, we're actually live.
Oh, well, right.
I was on live before you even started talking to me.
All right. Has Jim been on or not?
Well, no, Jim, because he would have liked to have been on for the Australian match. Couldn't. It's now midnight here in Australia.
All right, yeah.
But he'll be here again. Don't worry. And he's looking forward to coming on with you. So
no. I always like speaking from Australia.
I've got Adam coming on, and I mean I'd like to get Simon as well because of Simon's Sri Lanka knowledge. I've got some others coming on. Tomorrow's India-Pakistan match. I've hopefully going to arrange some Pakistan people to come on as well, so it'll be good.
India-Pakistan will be a red-hot fixture. I think it's shaping up pretty well, actually. You know, I think there's some. This will be a tournament where there'll be some names that appear that people have never heard of before. So
no doubt.
So I think that's really exciting. So.
Watch out for Harris Ralph, the opening bowler, one of the bowlers for South Africa. He bowls well over 150 clicks. Did well in our BBL. Harris Ralph.
Yeah, for Pakistan. Yeah, so we were quite. This is more Gloucestershire. We were quite keen to recruit Pakistan bowler only for the logistically, Norman, because they're unlikely to be involved in the IPL in April.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a habit of selecting Pakistan fast bowlers. But Harris Rolfe is good, and he has got really good white ball skills.
Oh yeah,
particularly at the end, he can bowl at both ends. So I know they've only got 4 overs, but
no, I mean he's going to come into play quite heavily in this particular tournament, I think. All right, so the England side for today, we're going to be getting the toss. I mean, another 20 minutes. The toss comes through.
Yeah,
that game. I know we've got the Australia match playing at the moment, but that's the England West Indies match. I think is extremely significant because really both of these two teams should go through. They should be the leading two of their group. So I'm going to be curious how that happens.
Well, yeah, England, quite rightly, are one of the favourites because they just seem to have got all bases covered, really. So, they've
got Milan, Livingston, Moeen Ali, Wokes, Jordan there. Mills. Tell me about Mills.
Tymal Mills is a guy who's really specialised in bowling T20. His story, because he originally played for Essex before he moved to Sussex, and his story is really heartwarming in many ways, is that for him to go to Nets at Chelmsford, because it's London and it's sort of East London, he had to go on various trains, various buses to go to practice. Wow. Took him a long time. He came from a non-cricketing family, so to help the family, he used to take a job before he went to school. That's not unique. I know lots of people do that. He then put himself through university to get a degree, and then I think struggles a little bit with his back. To be fair, Norman, if you're bowling fast and you know the implications long term of what it does to you physically, then if you can get gigs around the world bowling T20, that's what you'll do. So he's a left armer, so he's very good at bowling round the wicket, and he has not using the same friend over and over, really good skill set in terms of slower balls. He can bowl a slower ball with the same action.
Wow.
So it's very bowlers for the batsman.
So really, they've got a good bowling line, haven't they? They've got Markwood, they've got Mills, they've got Wokes, they've got Rashid as well.
Yeah, well, Rashid and Moeen will be the key players. But I agree. If it's low all the time, it's difficult to line up in terms of seamer, in terms of teaming. Honestly, this might be the easy ones to score off because I told it. That game when I think he was playing for the Mumbai Indians when KR and he ended up needing 6, and the bloke hit it over and win the. Actually, I find he would a normal off spinner or a carom ball rather than bowl and into the as the was charged it and hit it straight over the side screen. So these side not winning to the outside.
You're breaking up.
Still there, Norman?
I'm here, but you're just breaking up.
All right.
So realistically, England's bowling attack's very strong. Their batting's still very strong, despite not having the Stokes of the world and the like. Owen Morgan's captaincy is pivotal. So really, they've got a great side still.
So when you coming online regarding the England?
Oh, Wade was just dropped. Sorry, David, can you try to reconnect? Because I've lost you.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Just come.
Yeah, we've just lost David Graveney there, the former chairman of England selectors there. He has a great insight into the makings of this England side, including obviously the likes of Mills. We just talked. David. You're back? I can see you. Can you see me? Rabada's bowling very well. Wade's played a couple of cheeky shots. David, can you hear me? Yes, Abhishek Sharma is still the Australian game being played. We're still watching it. David, I can hear you. David, I can see you. I can kind of hear you. Can you hear me?
Speaking. I can see you.
I can hear you.
Let me just try it on a different one, number 2.
Okay. So Wade's just taking a bit of pressure off Australia at the moment. Pretorius has got none for an off 2 balls. That's not what he wants. They need 25 runs made in balls with 3 overs. You'd think it's an Australia favourite, but yeah, I'd hate to see Matthew Wade score the winning runs to defy everything I've been talking about. But anyway. You'd think that Matthew Wade, they're really asked 5 for 94 after 17. They got 18 balls to hit 24 runs. Realistically, they've got the same sort of scoring going on both sides. You'd have to think that this is a slightly in Australia's favour if Wade continues. Pretorius seems to know what he's doing. There's 2 overs from Pretorius, 1 from Norgay. Rabada did look good, but Norgay can bowl well too. Don't forget, this is a pretty strong 3. You'd think Australia will win this. If they don't, then they're going to live to regret it. I'll tell you this much. Okay, David seems to be me back. I've got a blank stream with you, David. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, it's just freezing a bit.
That's right. It'll come. It'll come this time. I think you've got a better connection.
Australia are not going to win that.
Well, it's going to be very tight now. They've got 25-17. And Norgay can bowl very well. That was a wide. That's unfortunate.
Wait.
Tell you what, it's going to be it's been nail biting here. They shouldn't be nail biting. They should be winning this easily, Australia. I'll be just bowling outside off stump to him. Singles won't do it. Are you there, David?
Yeah. Me.
It's a awful performance by Australia, really, to be struggling to get past the score. One of these two get out, they're gone. When you have death bowling on this, you don't have to bowl so wide, just bowl well. Well, they're only getting singles so far. They've got good bowlers there, haven't they? Really. I mean, Norgay and Pretorius looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting on. We've got about 12 minutes that then I'll put you on for the England toss. I'll see how they go there. They're only getting singles this year, right? Showing so they both are playing below par cricket. They are. It's an awful standard of match, David, isn't it? 20 off 14. They're going to be struggling here. They're going to waste some big shots. They haven't hit 10 runs off any deliveries over it so far. David? What a catch. Markram took a magnificent catch. David, it was a great catch. Did you see the Markram catch?
Yeah.
Hang on, Dave. Just connect again and reconnect because I'm still not getting any better. Please. Yeah, look, Australia have to get 5 for 101 off 12. So they've got to get. They're pretty happy with themselves. Norgay's a very good bowler. Must be the pitch. It's the batting too. I'm sorry. The batting's atrocious. No real sense of purpose here. And Wade has played some good shots. With the score 18 off 12 deliveries. Oh no, what's he doing there? What is he doing there? Oh my God, sorry. I just saw someone in the crowd. Oh my God. Of course, he's sitting right next to it. What is Australia doing? I saw a person sitting next to Graham Smith that makes me shudder. Anyway, can't do much about that. So comparison, South Africa were, after 18 overs, they were exactly, they were 101 for 8, and Australia 101 for 5. So South Africa had obviously lost 3 more wickets. But that's not the point. It's the runs that they need to get that's probably more significant. This is quite nail-biting, isn't it? Singles won't cut it. What are Australia doing? It's certainly nail-biting. Norgé seems to be the right sort of bowler to bring on at this stage. Really awful. Well, Stoinis is certainly someone. Stoinis is certainly someone who can hit the ball at the ground if needed. They should have caught that. Should have caught that. Should have caught that. He's hurt his hand. He should have caught that, and he's hurt his finger. That would have been a pretty important catch, that one. Went through his hand. Still favouring Australia for the score. It's only got a single. Well, in these matches, you normally see Australia win them, actually. But it's certainly not one-sided. South Africa got a great opportunity to wrench a victory out of something which was not in their favour. Tane Mill, we had a little bit about him from the England bowler. What's that guy doing there? Seriously. No, I won't go into it. It's not worthwhile. Still has a good chance of winning. Of course they do, but it's going to be difficult, exactly. Yeah, the catch up. Norgé could have easily cleaned this match up. 13 off 8. Well, at this stage, most T20 tournaments, that would be a run rate to get with a great ease. But let's see if he can keep this to over 10 for the last over. No, there's a gap there, and he's got 4, I think, isn't he? Yeah. Good shot from Stoinis. There's the typical cow corner spot to hit. Norgé would not be happy with himself. It's ball full. Tell you what, Australia have not won this easily. There's no way they can classify this as a good win. They've scraped through. Both teams not deserving of semi-finalists. Okay, it's a single, so that's what? 8 off the last over, which that's normally not an impossible thing to do. 8 or 6, that's pretty doable. But had South Africa got only a handful more ones they would have wanted. They dropped catch on Norjay, probably significant enough there. Told you I'll go for the last. You're Aaron Singh, you're right. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Considering, well, it gets to off strike would be a good thing. Get Wade on strike would be a better position to be in. There's little corralled areas. It's quite hilarious. Win by a boundary count, or if they can stay close. It was well run. 6 runs off 5. You'd think they would win this. But it's too close to mention. 5 balls to go. We have a 4. It is. Oh, well done. Stein, well done. 6 5 balls. Yeah, it's just the 4's just. They've just only 2 runs now from victory. And Stillness has done very well. It's Wade actually played well in this match, being honest. Yeah, wow. Yeah, he did, but they should. It's not like an emphatic win. They're scraping home with 4 balls to spare, chasing a mediocre 118. It's not anything to get too excited about, even though they've beaten South Africa. Well, they should have beaten them with 10 overs to spare, not with 4 balls to spare. That's where we, really are looking at a pretty frustrating effort, to be honest. Well, they're not going for that, so there's 2 off 3. Australia has done it, Shuman Singer, or they haven't quite game Australia. Well, let's just wait a goddamn second. Another dot ball will make it interesting. Well, that looks like it's going for 4. Yeah, that's it. Australia won the match, not convincingly. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Yeah, congratulations, Australia. Well, nothing to get too excited about, let's be honest. They won by 5 wickets with only a few balls So Australia win. In last over. It wasn't, it wasn't a convincing victory by any means. But a win is a win. South Africa should be disappointed, but not overly, because they did force the situation pretty badly. So Australia won by not exactly the most convincing victories by any means, guys. We should now turn our mind to the next match, which is we're going to have a very big match happening now, which is the toss for the next match is pretty much underway between England and the West Indies, and this is another significant match. There's a lot to be tosses any minute now, and they're pretty slack with their tosses. How long before the next game? Abhishek, the next game is in 27 minutes, actually. The next game is in 27 minutes. 27 minutes between England and Western. That's why I'm on now. Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't a big win. Really, both teams can't seriously see themselves as chance of winning this. They both were bloody ordinary. Really. We had David Gravely on there for a while. Okay, so England won the toss. And elected to bowl. So that puts them in the same boat as Australia in the box seat to start with. So England won the toss. So England have won the toss and have elected to bowl. Australia won the toss and elected to bowl and just scraped home. But you would think that England have put themselves in the box seat as well. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens in this match. Hazelwood man of the match. Well, that's deservedly so. Yeah, it's an England squad. Hazelwood's thanking himself there. Oh boy, it was my overall view, Ram, of Australia's chances are extremely poor. You'd have to wonder whether they got any chance at all. To be honest with you, I'd be very, 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 very doubtful. Very, very doubtful, guys. Very, very doubtful. You'd have to think there's Oh boy, it's frustrating to say the least, honestly. Both performances, I mean, South Africa were awful to start with, but Australia did not, you know, didn't deserve it either. Underwhelming match indeed. I don't think either of these sides will be they won't be contesting the final positions of the game. Hazel, Samba, Stark all got 2 wickets each, you're right, Susan. But rejoice on now wins a win. Oh, yeah, wins a win, yeah, it is, but it's very frustrating to see that happen. But yeah, it's on to the next game, guys. Australia have now won their first group match over South Africa, who, I wasn't excited about anyway. Norgay, for a man who's been bowling well for the IPL, didn't quite finish at all. And Pretorius didn't seem to be on song either. So, yeah, it was a hard-fought win for both sides. I guess both very, 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 very rusty indeed. It's been, but yeah, with the England side, let's have a look at what's the sides there. They picked okay, so England's side. Let's have a look here. Jason Roy and Josh Butler are opening with David Milan, Bairstow at first, second drop, Liam Livingston, Owen Morgan, Moeen Ali, Chris Wokes, Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid, and Tymor Mills. Very strong England side. Predictable side. So Darwin Balance keeping his place and Chris Wokes playing alongside Chris Jordan and Tymor Mills. Looks like a very good sort. So West Indies, Evan Lewis, Lendl Simmons, good opening pair. Chris Gale, first drop, Nicholas Puran, Shimron Hetmeyer, Kieran Pollard, Andre Russell, Dwayne Bravo, Akil Hossain, Ravi Rampal, and Obed McCoy. So the absence of the all-rounders who aren't here does hurt us, but hopefully we can make it work. West Indies have left out their anchor, Roston Chase, with Lendl Simmons adding to the 2016 vibes and Ravi Rampal, a throwback to their win in 2012. So it's quite an incredible breakdown of players, isn't it? You'd have to argue. Let's have a look at this situation. There's a lot to be said about this Western side. It's the unpredictability is still there, hugely unpredictable, and it's exciting. You'd have to argue. So, the next match is going to be huge in terms of what takes place with, the whole way that this tournament's going to be very, very frustrating. I've got this feeling. The match today was extremely frustrating because it was just poor all round, but somehow, they're getting away with it. Trying to work out Ravi Rampal. What a throwback he is. It's a surprise to me too. I thought he was. I don't know how old is Ravi. Someone please look up how old Ravi Rampal is. He must be as old as Chris Gale. Have to be as old as Chris Gale, really. He's 42 around. Abhishek Agrawal, please check exactly. I want to know because it's quite an incredible situation there, I would say. In England, we'll go through the sides in a minute. I'm pity that David Graven is not here. He had to leave earlier on, but he was here. He did talk about Tymon Mills quite a bit to me. It was brilliant to hear about that. You know, a very struggling player. But England won the toss and decided to bowl. That's pretty much sealed the deal for the result, you would argue. No, you can't really see that going any other way. So let's just look at the team. He's 37. Okay, so he's younger than, well, I thought he was younger than James Anderson, put that way. Should have been seeing it. Not a good bowling side. They look good with the bat, though. Yes, they do. Okay, let's have a look at the side. So the bowling side, they've got Ravi Rampal, Abid McCoy, Akil Hussain, Dwayne Bravo, Andre Russell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And Pollard can bowl, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty ordinary. Yeah, Chris Gale can also bowl this bit. Batting was Evan Lewis, Landell Simmons, Chris Gale, Nicholas Puran, Hetmeyer, and Pollard. That's a very strong batting line. But England, Jason Roy and Joss Butler, great opening pair. David Milan, when in form, is good. Bairstow, number 4. Liam Livingston, who's a big hitter. Owen Morgan, Moeen Ali out of CSK form, of course. Chris Wokes, Owen Morgan was KKR, so he was in the final as well. Chris Wokes, we know, can play well. Chris Jordan's not bad. Adil Rashid's a great spinner, and Tymon Mills is rated very, very highly. So, you know, that's some good signs there, I reckon. You know, there's a lot of good things going on there. So Malik, 39 years old, Shoaib Malik is the Shah Afridi of the West Indies. Okay. Look, you would have some doubt about the way that the West Indies play. They could muster a win here. England should win, and probably will win pretty well. But we thought that Australia beating South Africa, didn't we? And look at the result there. Just spoke time. Certainly not anything to get right home about there, I must say. This match is about to start in 16 minutes' time. England's chances are pretty good. You'd have to argue. I still can't get over that previous game result, really. It's way beyond my thoughts that how Australia got over them. West Indies will win. Baram Marani. Is he coming on, Baram? David Gravely was here earlier, but you missed him. He was on. So we've got some 15 minutes to go. Yeah, it's a very frustrating day for Australia, even that they won. It was a hard-fought win for Australia. After all, it was an exciting match. Nail-biting, I would say frustrating as well. I don't know about exciting. It was more frustrating than exciting, if you ask me. Oh, we lost a person there. Okay. So they are comparatively better with the ball. Who? England? Or England probably are. So another factor to count in the field is the field isn't that great traditionally. No. England are good all round, yes. Wade and Stone. So, well, Samantha Raj, we'll wait and see how they play against better opposition. That's my true judgment call on how they're going to play. That's the true judgment call, guys. All right, so we've got some 40 minutes before that match starts. And it's been a really, really hard slog there for the commentary, let alone anyone else. So it's been one of those days. I feel for both sides. They just looked so miserably out of form. They looked miserably out of form. Let's look at the report for this match. The commentary. And Bavuma had a bit of a chat post-game. He wouldn't have been happy with the way his team played, even though they went close. He wouldn't have. The only encouraging thing there is that I guess the only encouraging thing really is there that they didn't get thrashed. They got the runs in 10 overs. It'll be a different story, wouldn't it? Toss has happened. Yes, it has, Abhishek. And England have won the toss and elected to bowl, not unlike Australia winning the toss and electing to bowl. So that's the scenario. Hazelwood's actually had a bit of a chat there too. And Josh, as I said, Josh Hazelwood's the player of the match. We should praise Smith's innings as well with the way he held up on end, kept scoring or ticking. Yes, I can acknowledge that. I just don't think that they really had that awfully against them, didn't they? But they won. It's whatever points it is. I guess you can't knock that. I guess that's where that's the comparison they needed to make. So that's what it was. Well, still a big relief. It was a big relief for Storm. He certainly had to pull a rabbit out of the hat. He did it. It's pretty impressive that they read it all the way, and it is a big relief for oh God, I can't. Yeah, so it is a relief for Stoinis for sure. He looked pretty good. But they didn't do it with a canter, did they? They didn't do it with a canter at all. It was rather cumbersome and rather, poor in a lot of ways. Yeah, it was certainly left arm leggies. Looked like such a rarity. Left arm leggies. Shumsey is amazing. Shumsey bowled really well. Good following, actually. Very, very good following for the matches. Windies will bat first. That's correct. It's low battery. Why have I got a low battery there? I don't know what the story is there. Doesn't seem to have got any power going on there. No wonder we got no power going because we had the damn thing. There we go, guys. We're back on deck now. Yeah, it's a frustrating effort to say the least, but Australia won. They should be happy about that. Windies to bat will bat first. That's right. Yeah, so the Australian effort was fair. Was fair. It wasn't. I mean, look, they still have this problem with their opening three. Aaron Finch, Warner, and obviously Marshall all failed again. And I'm saying again because it can't continue to happen. Top three failed. And that's the problem. Like, you can get away with it maybe against South Africa, that it was also a fair middling form. But against a top-ranked Indian team or Akil Hussain, the left-arm leggy, I haven't seen him bowl before. Well, let's see what he's like. Let's have a look at what he's like, huh? I've got 9 minutes before this game starts. Ravi Rampal, what an amazing story. So Ravi Rampal's 37 years of age. He was always a good bowler, though. Never to be taken lightly. By any means. And we've got some amazing matches coming up tomorrow. We've got a combination of well, India versus Pakistan and Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh, 4 subcontinent teams. Should be an absolute great day for the subcontinent. Obviously, today we have we have a situation where Warner's filing is a big concern for the Australian team management, and his attitude. I still don't think his attitude is good. Still reckon he's lacking his attitude for sure. Will Warner be dropped midway and then talking, or will the management persist with him? Well, he's going to get some runs. If he doesn't, Josh English is ready made and is sitting there waiting to play, isn't he? Josh English has to be considered at some stage, even if it means without dropping Wade, which is probably not the optimum position to be in. Wade should be also not there, but they probably unfortunately need him. It's hard to believe, but they probably do need him. All right, where are you guys? You're not here today as much. Yeah, Warner's a concern. There's no fear that Warner is a massive concern. And even though he got a few more runs, he didn't really go anywhere, did he? All right, so 7 minutes to go. We'll wait and see. We're going to watch as much as we can of this match. So again, Jason Roy and Butler. So West Indies have Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons, 2 very good batters, followed by Chris Gale and Nicholas Puran as the wicketkeeper, Hetmeyer, Pollard as captain, Andre Russell, Dwayne Bravo, Akil Hosseini's left arm spin should be very well, Ravi Rampal and Abid McCoy. There's a few players that they haven't got there that I'm a bit surprised at. So let's read what they wrote. England win the toss and bowl. Morgan likes a chase, and so might have fewer teams given the role. Dew could be playing during evening games. He says that batting second is a safety net in case Dew does come into it. England opt for batting heavy in the end, with David Malan keeping his place and Chris Wokes playing alongside Chris Jordan and Tymon Mills. The balance with Livingston and Ali gives us 3 seamers and 3 spinners. Yeah, pretty amazing. Morgan says the absence of all-rounders who aren't here does hurt us, but hopefully we can make it work. Well, Chris Wokes, you'd argue, is an all-rounder. Andre Russell is fit. West Indies have left out their anchor, Roston Chase, with Lendl Simmons adding to the 2016 vibes and Ravi Rampal, a throwback to their title win in 2012. Toss is always 50-50. If we'd won that, we might have bowled as well. We have to play all 3 facets of the game, so we'll bat first and try to bat well. That's what has come of that discussion. Yeah, it's going to be intriguing. Again, I'd have some grave doubts about the way that Australia and South Africa went about their business. You'd want something more emphatic from the Australian side after having. So Marcus Thomas is coming for a pressure in a few minutes' time. So, all right. So we've got the game finishing now. Apart from India, which other team has a strong spin bowling attack? Look, I think England's certainly got a lot of talent there as well. Pakistan's pretty good. And I'm struggling with other teams. Australia middling, South Africa's only got Shamsi. New Zealand, no, certainly not New Zealand. Yeah, it's very much a poor performance all around for spinners. India, the streets ahead from that department. Let's have a look here. So England are going out in the field. We can see Owen Morgan, successful coach, captain, with his KKR franchise, knows how to play the game. Will be pretty confident. There's the likes of Jason Roy and Butler and Bairstow there. Bowling wise, I'm interested to see how Tyler Mills goes because he's a good bowler. Heard a lot about him. Chris Jordan has his day. West Indian players are out there as well. They're going to go through this kneeling. Black has power. I think I'm not sure what the titling of it actually is, but West Indies are not to be underestimated. Not to be underestimated. Not to be underestimated at all. Chris Gale's still there. Ravi Rampal's an interesting one. I want to see more of him. And youth factors are a huge concern in this tournament for team bowling second. True. But both teams have the same circumstances, so it's not like one has it, not the other. Adil Rashid, great bowler. Big advantage for England, no doubt. His place inside will be paramount. So this Dubai wicket looks a bit better. Lindell Simmons. And this Black Power, I think that's what it's called. Both teams are involved with it. Moeen Ali is going to bowl the first ball, is he? Looks like Moeen Ali's opening up. Age 34, off spinner, that he is. Coming off again a CSK victory. He'd be pretty pumped, I would say. And Lindell Simmons next facing. And first ball, nicely patted back to the bowler. Look, it's this game is probably looking at the top two teams from Group 1, if my thoughts have felt. Really deserve that titling. Australia and South Africa were both pretty poor today. Yeah, uncoordinated. Yes, Owen Morgan's form is a concern for England in the middle order. Yes, it is. Certainly. What's going on here? It's better. Evan Lewis certainly can hit the ball. Always seems relatively calm with Bowen alley to start with. And his gentle spin. South Africa was a total mess today. And so were Australia. Let's be frank, Manna, John. Yeah, it's very solid opening over here so far. Not a lot going on. Got to see, get some sort of a late project. Raj, how are you? Let's see how we go with Moen Ali. Oh, there goes Evan Lewis. He didn't muck around. He's lifted him out of the ground for 6. That's the sort of batting style we'd like to see. And this is where the West Indies have got a very solid opening partnership. Right in the slot and boom. Yeah, Australia was a bit lucky today. You're right, Manager. Abhishek Agarwal, you join me here. Cricket loves to copy soccer, be it club franchise players coming out on the field with kids, anthem before the start and match, tried sub rule as well as now betting on one knee for anti-races. Yeah, that's a bit gimmicky. I'll grant you that. Norman, your prediction for tomorrow's big match against Pakistan. India on paper have to win. It's as simple as that. As to England against West Indies, as did Australia with South Africa. But it all happened with Australia South Africa. So yeah, it's a big match. Could set the scene. You could well see those two teams play in the final. It's possible. They could be 1 and 2 within their group and then go split in the semi-final and then play each other in the final. It's possible. Chris Wokes is opening up the bowling here. Having watched Moen Ali bowl from the other end. Very interesting match, this one. No doubt. It'd be great to see Chris Gale come out, wouldn't it? And hit big. Chris Wokes comes in the bowl. Evan Lewis plays quite nicely back to the bowler. It probably won't last as long today. Tyrone Mills is considered the most economical death bowler of all time. Is that what Tim Milton Davies, that's what you think? No, I think you're right. Why ex-cricketers and exposed pundits tried to be less critical of the batter's form if he happens to be a captain? Case in point, Colin Mo. Great stat. Great stat. Great understanding there, Abhishek Sharma. You're right. It should be equally as hard about a captain if that's well, and if he doesn't play well, he should be not captain. But they hold captaincy in very high regard, let's be honest. Lewis loves hitting that ball high and long, but he's hit it more high than long this time. And he's just taken a. Oh my God, that was a magnificent catch. Moen Ali's taken a beauty. Well, it was just went a bit too hard, expecting there to be too much on there, but it didn't quite work. He did bowl a slow ball, and it was more up than through. It was a very good catch from Molinelli on the way back. He's proven to be a real champ, I'll tell you what. Real little champ. We've got Chris Gallagher. This is going to be interesting. This is where the fireworks start. Well, Chris Gallagher's virtually opening here, isn't he? And so Chris Gallagher goes. Chris Wakes did bowl a ball that was held back. What biscuit is that? It's a chocolate chip biscuit. Because Gallagher's older than me. Well, he's not older than me now, but he's doing that. Abhishek notably can complain about Kohli, man. Nobody can call it. He will go full on Ben Stokes on him. Even the great Sanjay Manchurian is afraid of him. Okay. Chris Gale, 42. Let's see if he's got the form on the board. Met Chris Gale, met Alan Morgan, met David Milan. Oh, Ellie I haven't met. Chris Wokes is a great bowler. Can you show the biscuit wrapper? No, I can't. Harsh, my bad. Mandraka, okay, not Manchurian. So let me try and find the thing. Okay, I'm going to find. So Gale needs 80 runs to have 1,000 runs in T20 World Cup. Needs 90 runs to be the most runs in T20 World Cup. There you go. 80 runs to most have 1,000 runs in T20 World Cups, and 97 to have the most runs in two. So someone's got 1,016. That's why he won in the side, obviously. He's capable of that. So, Tim Tam's 9. I'll show you if you want. Hang on. Close win for Australia. Close win. It was embarrassingly close. Is there another catch? Another wicket. Oh my God. Lendl Simmons has just been caught off Moeen Ali. I didn't see the wicket take place. Let me have a look at the wicket. Two rather poor shots there. Did you get the Ben Stokes reference? Yes. Lendl Simmons. Let's look what he's done. Oh, he's floated it up. They've gone for the big hoik. And there's a man on the boundary just waiting for it. So both West Indian openers have gone very cheap. They're 2 for 9. And missing Ben Stokes are close. Do you think Marcus Stoinis and Matthew Wade will be playing finishing roles for Australia? No. Well, they are at the moment, but they're playing against a very poor South African side. It was not mind-blowingly great. So I wouldn't get too excited. I wouldn't get. Yeah, it is Naib batting. You're right. Islam it is. Or Abhishek Agarwal. That was certainly is Naib. Close win, Abhishek. Because it was a close win implies. No, it was a bumbly type win. Okay, I'm just going to get a hold of this biscuit packet that you want to see, guys. Hang on. That's the packet. You got it, guys? Can you see it? All right. So West Indies have not started the way they should have. Yeah, South Africa's missing Faf to proceed. They had Fakar Zaman, a big threat defending considering next week's form. Yet Zaman is not that good. Okay. Well, talk about South African. Only a match more tomorrow. So it's going to be on this time tomorrow. All right. Makes it very, very interesting indeed. Oh, Melly, great player. Do I use a Vegemite as my dipping sauce biscuits? No. Just a cup of coffee. I'm having poppin'. What's that? Hetmeyer's gone up the order ahead of Puran. Okay. Is it? England are all over this like a rash at the moment. What happened there? The ball just skid through, come off the pad, off the back leg actually. Well, Chris Gale's day of reckoning is here. Coffee with chocolate chip cookies? What, then try them with milk? No. Hetmeyer still having blue hairs. That he got made it with these things. That's hair. Oh, why change? Temba Bavuma is a liability for South Africa. I kind of agree. MF Faf should be there, or whatever it is. But great placement by Gale. Be nice to see Gale score big. And Gale looks like a bit menacing there. 2 massive fours. And don't discount Chris Gale. Nice try from Gale. Nice cut shot. Bang. Can't get too excited. That was a bloody good shot. Do I often at McDonald's? Me, sometimes. Well, it's a little bit lazy there. Kind of looks lazy, doesn't he? Try new subs and subway. Okay, looking very strong even he is now. Of course he's strong. Since Australia has won today, and let's consider they will win against Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and lose to England, then the last match will be against West Indies for Australia. It will be like a quarter final. Yeah, well put, Ranger. I think that will be. And I think that's where Australia will stump. And they're going to struggle against Sri Lanka, by the way, so and probably Bangladesh. Puran, Pollard, Russell, Bravo, some great players. That's right there. Yeah, the West Indies, James Richards gets back into the Sussex League. Maybe not quite that fit, but certainly up there. 3:15. There we go. It was Hetmeyer. So why Ashwin is not an automatic pick for most of the experts out there? I think he should be now. He played well against Australia. Early wickets again. Deservedly so. Battery's low there again. West Indies have got a fair bit of depth in their side. They lost the two openers pretty cheaply. And Sri Lanka play Bangladesh tomorrow too, as well as India versus Pakistan, which will be an interesting combination. Don't you think South Africa can upset West Indies or England after their today's? No. West Indian drummers there. Beautifully played. Lofted cover drive. That wicket made from Ali, who was his first main over 20. Is that right? Interesting. Australia, the lower middle order, looking very strong. Well, no, I wouldn't agree with that. I think the overall performance was pretty ordinary, really. So that wicket maiden from Moeen Ali was his first maiden over in T20 cricket ever. That's amazing. South Africa should pray that they don't end up at the bottom of the table. They look really weak. South Africa. They could well end up at the bottom of the table. Oh my God! It's fallen to a pretty ordinary shot. Ali's taking more wickets. Remember, I told you don't discard a show too early. Okay, Tage by, we'll wait. Another wicket out. Hetmeyer played a very ordinary shot. Despite batting beautifully, three very self-dismissals. They're self-destructing. Bit of self-destructing going on here. But discount the Windies. They're 6 hitting concern a game. True. Pakistan and Windies are very unpredictable teams. They're both in my last 4, by the way, if I'm being honest. All right, guys, I'm going to shut up shop today. I think we've had enough. Okay, so looks like West Indies will struggle today. England will win. They won the toss, they elected to bowl. Same as Australia. Both teams will win their games. Australia were not convincing if they win. England, I'm pretty sure whatever West Indies hurdle, England will get it in the canter. So that's our effort tonight. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you tomorrow for the Sri Lanka-Bangladesh match, but more importantly, for a preview and the entire match tomorrow night between India and Pakistan. Come to this channel and watch that. It's already up there. The invite's already out there. So go and like it. Hit the notification button. Okay, so hit the notification button for tomorrow, and we'll be able to watch that as well. And we'll enjoy it and enjoy it immensely. Okay. Pretty happy with the way things have gone. Oh, Morgan's particularly happy. Thank you, Uncle. Another low score match. Yes, it's slow burn. It certainly is. You know, there's going to be some very, very frustrating matches here, I would say. Very, very frustrating. Indeed. But, you know, we can't knock the performances of the sides involved. England and West Indies are both good sides. Have to argue that that's the case. The Dubai Stadium is a much more impressive stadium than the other venues. Now we've got time Mills. I'm not saying over time Mills. I'm getting some pretty nasty messages from people. England's wild card, I would agree with that. Yeah. He looks good. Time Mills looks good. I'm impressed with what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Just going to spend a second. I think guys should go. All right, guys. It's time to go. We'll talk tomorrow. All the best. So view, like, and share the post. Subscribe. Hit the notification button for tomorrow's India-Pakistan match. Huge. We'll do some of the view of the Sri Lanka Bangladesh match as well. But I think that's important to spend more time with the India and Pakistan match as far as viewership is concerned. And well, the videos are out there linked already. So congratulations. We'll talk tomorrow.